Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to MK in the Morning, episode 3. I'm here with my guy, Philly, the podcast. Introduce yourself, my guy.
What's going on? Yeah. It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco from Philly the podcast. And thank you for having me on, Mitch. I'm excited to talk some football, man. You know, a lot of things have happened over this past week, so sure
Yeah,
that we have a lot we could talk about.
a lot of things. So let's just get into it. The Eagles game got postponed, rescheduled to Tuesday. And for me, football on a Tuesday feels so weird. Like, doesn't it feel weird to you?
Yeah, I can't remember the last if there's ever been a game on Tuesday, but it's gonna be weird. It's definitely gonna be weird. A little bit more rest, and then obviously a little bit less rest coming right after that. So it's a double-edged sword. It's obviously I'm not a big fan of it, but I guess it is what it is at this point, right?
Yeah, it's just so weird. I mean, we got a game Tuesday, then a game Sunday, and then Dallas the week after in like 12 days. It's like 3 games in 12 days, dude.
Yeah, and they're all
Not
divisional games,
right.
like you said. Yeah, like it, and they're all playoff implications. It's weird how the NFL decided to do this, or if I'm sure that the teams had say in this as well. I'm sure the Eagles didn't want to lose out on money as well, but it's frustrating, and it bodes the question like how packed will that Philadelphia Eagles stadium be this week? You know, how much noise is there going to actually be with people not being able to take work off and get out there because you know it was scheduled for Sunday. So I mean it screws a lot more people over than just the players and the teams involved. So it's a tough situation to watch. It sucks, to be honest.
It does. I mean, it's not just our game. The Raiders and Browns got moved. Seattle and the Rams got moved. So it's not just us. So
Say I will say this though, like the Raiders and Browns, they got moved to Monday, right? If I'm not
uh,
mistaken, or are they Tuesday as
yeah.
well?
It went from
So
Saturday to Monday.
so they're Monday. The Eagles are Sunday. The Rams and the um, Seahawks, which has zero. I mean, maybe for the Rams, like seating wise, but like you know, for them to try and make it. But this is an easy give me game. Like the Seahawks are not who they used to be. They're not a good team. The reason I say that is because like the Raiders and the Ravens obviously have playoff implications, but they have basically still a normal week. They don't play again till Sunday. And the Eagles are the only team that have playoff implications that got moved to Tuesday. Now have a 4-day layover, if you want to call it that, and you're right back to work. And then you have again, like you said, another divisional opponent. So it's ridiculous. It's like I don't know. I feel like they dropped the ball on this. If I'm being real.
Yeah, they should have just forfeited the game. I mean, how many players on Washington have COVID now? 20, it was like 20 something, 24, something like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And we
Yeah,
only
I
had
mean, you could
two.
play the game. Just play the game. Like if if people were hurt, we wouldn't do this. Like do people get the game moved because they lose their whole offensive line? No, we've seen that. We've gone through that, right? Like
Mm,
we were down to like our fourth cornerback at points in a couple of years ago, but they didn't move the games back then. Like I understand the health implications, but you just sit them at home. They don't get on the play. I just didn't trust it at all. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't really trust Washington coming to Philly with all that stuff going on. Like you should just sit it out. You should just sit home and not win this game. You lost this game, in my opinion. You are unable to perform your essential job duties. So you cannot, it is what it is. You can't call out and get it pushed back. Like, I just don't like it. I just don't
yeah,
like it.
23 Washington football team players are on the COVID list. If that were the Eagles, you would have a different tone. I mean,
Probably would.
we
I
follow the
mean,
rules.
I'm
The
an Eagles
Eagles
fan.
follow the rules. Like,
That's
we
the
only
thing.
had
Yeah, it's not that situation. So, I mean, we could address that if it happened, but we're not
yeah,
in that situation. There's 3 teams that are in that situation, and it's not us. Why do we get punished?
right. We only had two players, Watkins and Huntley. And Watkins was a big blow, in my opinion, though, for that.
Yeah, I think they're roommates, if I'm not mistaken. So,
That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
at
I
least it
didn't
was
know
kind of
that.
kept within that room. And there was a point where Avante Matt, or I think either Dallas got it, or who got it? It was Avante or Dallas got it, had like
Yeah,
it for a week. But yeah, I mean, like we've been pretty good at it. We've been pretty, healthy, knock on wood. Hopefully we stay healthy. But I don't know. I just don't understand why we're the team that I feel like we're suffering the most from this. Like Washington doesn't, they don't realistically have a chance of making the playoffs anymore. Like they lost so many players, and 2 days isn't going to bring all those players back. So now we're just going to run the risk of injury, to run the risk of getting sick, and I'm just not with it. I'm not with it.
Yeah. So Josh Sweat is coming back, I think. I mean,
Yeah,
not
shout out
Sweat.
to
No, for them. Well, it's not Josh Sweat. Oh my God, Montez
his
Sweat.
brother Montez.
Yeah. I don't know why
Yeah,
I said
shout out to
Josh.
Montez. Montez is like the patient zero. He was the one that like started all this out there.
Oh my God.
He
Yeah, the
did.
Flyers play on Tuesday as well. Like, can you imagine that traffic jam? Oh my God, that's gonna be
Yeah,
bad.
it's gonna be a
Actually,
bad look.
forfeited game stadium staff, coverage, and media staff does not get paid. What?
Well, by rule, the team that was the cause of the forfeit, which in this case would be the Washington football team, by rule, the team that caused the forfeit would have to pay those expenses. So there is lost revenue no matter what. If you don't play the football game, you're going to lose revenue, right? Like that's obvious. But there's ways of minimizing that, and there's ways of getting those people paid. So I don't know. I just don't. I don't buy it, man. This is a multi-billion-dollar company, or organization. NFL is worth how much money, and you're telling me they can't pay some guys that cook in the? I'm just not buying it. I'm just not buying it. I think it's greed. I think it's the NFL just doing dumb stuff again, to be honest. But
It's just typical. They went back on their word. Didn't they say that like in the beginning? Like if you don't have enough players, just forfeit the game. Didn't they say that?
yeah, I mean there was terms saying like if you couldn't reschedule the game, but this isn't. It doesn't make sense. It's not like you rescheduled it a week later and said go get healthy. I would almost like respect that more. Like if they, you know what I'm saying? Like I would almost respect that more. But right now you're just pushing it back 2 days for what? Like it just kind of seems like a visual thing more than like a actual player safety thing.
Yeah. It's more than football. Putting a game requires logistics. Okay. Are you trying to say those staff employees working for one day is more important than not spreading the COVID and possibly getting more people sick? Like, it's a full time. It's no one's full time job. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. This whole thing.
Well,
Dallas fans are laughing at us on Twitter. I've been getting DMs like crazy.
Dallas fans love us. That's what I mean. It is. It is. They should be worried about their own team right now.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can take care of the Giants.
If they lose to the Giants, I'm just gonna laugh. I mean, we did too, but it's just like, yeah.
Well, they don't have, not saying that Daniel Jones. We lost to the Giants because of our offense. I mean, it is what it is. We didn't. That offense was trash for the New York Giants when we played them. They're still trash. They've gotten even worse. Obviously, they're losing it. They lose their starting quarterback. But I mean, I don't know. This NFC East is just. It's weird that we have a situation where two of us might make it. Like, we might get a wild card team, and obviously the Dallas Cowboys look like they're on track to make the playoffs. But it's weird that we might have two teams because I really don't think that this division is all that figured out. Like, there's still so many question marks on almost every team outside of Dallas. And I think Dallas has their own internal, questions. But I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird.
It is. NFL are billionaires, but NFL doesn't even pay their cheer staff and makes the refs part-time employees. Wow.
I mean, I don't know what that has to do with the game, to be honest.
I know. I'm just
like there's gonna be a lot of you're gonna get a whole bunch of random. This is who it affects, and this is what people don't see. Like at the end of the day, I'm just looking at it as a football standpoint. Like all the politics of it, all the logistics behind the scenes, that really doesn't mean anything to me because personally it doesn't. And maybe that's a bad way of looking at it, but it doesn't really affect the game of football in my eyes. What I'm looking at is the two teams that have to play a game on Sunday. So I just don't think that the way it was handled is proper. I think they wasted an opportunity to show that they're serious about COVID. I really do.
Keyword part-time. What is this? Kyrie Irving now?
Hey, shout out to Kyrie. Shout out to Kyrie. Welcome back. Welcome back.
It's just like this whole thing is ridiculous. This whole freaking thing.
Yeah, the NBA is just giving up. The NBA doesn't care about I've seen so many people go on COVID and be cleared the same day. I think the NBA is just kind of giving up on the whole COVID thing. But I mean, the NFL just don't send mixed signals. Don't say that you care, and then when you have like 60 people between 3 different teams get COVID, move the games back 2 days and act like all things are well. Like that's a big break. That's a big outbreak of something that you say you take serious. So I don't know. I just feel like they didn't. There's mixed signals. They're sending mixed signals, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. This whole thing is ridiculous. But I don't even think Heineke's going to play. I really don't think so. So that's the biggest thing right there. Heineke doesn't play.
Yeah, he's got to test negative for a couple of days or something like that.
Morning. Yeah, what's good, BRC? How you doing, man? Thank you for popping in. But yeah, this is the best chance for us to win. Heineke's not there. They're missing multiple players. This is the best chance for us to win. I mean, if we don't win with Heineke out, I think we'll be done, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, we might be done already if we're being 100% honest. We don't know what's going to happen with all the other teams, but I think that the Washington football team was a team we could have beat even at full health. I think that we're a better team than we showed against the Giants. We should have won that Giants game. I don't think that even if Heineke or Heineken, whatever the heck his name is, even if he was fully healthy, I don't think that he's a great quarterback. I think he's good. I think he's a decent. He
gets the job done. He gets the job.
Yeah, he's a good game manager, which I think the term game manager is kind of underrated. Like it's good to be able to do that. It's something that you need in a quarterback situation when you don't have that guy. If you don't have an Aaron Rodgers, it's good to have a Tyrod Taylor that's not going to make mistakes, right? And I think he falls more in the latter. But I don't look at any of these quarterbacks and get nervous. It's really about us. Like I think all of the questions that we have about this team can be answered by ourselves. Like we don't need to play terrible teams. I think we are a good team. It's just about a consistent item, like a consistent product that we haven't put out a consistent product over this year. Like every week, I feel like it's a different type of team. So if we could just get consistent and figure out who we want to be week to week, I think we could see a different team. But we'll see it. We'll see what happens. We definitely will see what happens.
For that, it's the defense that worries me. I mean, the defense is not. It's not good in my opinion. The linebackers are nowhere to be found. Jonathan Gannon is different each week. I mean, we're not getting blitzes. We've only sacked the quarterbacks 7 times in the last 3 games. Is that a problem, or am I just overthinking this?
I think our defense has definitely been an issue. I don't think, I think a lot of, and I have this conversation all the time, or you can even call it an argument on Twitter, but I think that people, get very enamored with numbers. Like everybody wants to see these, the sack numbers up, the QB hit, and all that matters. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's a nonsense stat or anything like that. But what I'm saying is sometimes you have to look within the game. And I mean, if you look in the last 3 games, correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, we went against the Giants. We blew them out defensively. Defensively, we didn't play poorly. Like I said, I think we lost that game because of our offense. You look against the Jets. I don't think we got many sacks. I think we maybe got 1 or 2 that game.
I think we got 1.
Yeah. So I mean, but at the same time, we shut them down, right? So I look more at that, but it does come down to Jonathan Gannon not understanding that you have to play the game and not necessarily the team. Once you want to put yourself in a position to understand what your opponent wants to do against you, I understand that. But once you get on the field, you have to see what's happening, right? So a big thing that I think can be attributed, if you look at when we went against Denver, right? I was able to talk to a couple of the guys, and a couple of the things that they kept saying was, that just brings something different, something that you haven't seen in film, and you can usually catch them off guard. Same thing was said about New Orleans Saints. And you look at their defenses, and their defenses are a lot better than ours are on paper, and even in utility as the past year. But you look at that, and you look at our defense, and our defense, I feel like they're very stagnant. if Jonathan Gannon came into the game saying cover 2 is the best coverage to play against this defense, that's all he does all game. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's a week to week thing. So like when he comes in and says we're going to blitz this quarterback, he does it and he does it with success, but then he doesn't consistently do it because he sees something different in a different, offense. And maybe it's because we don't have the players that he needs to run his system, but I really don't feel that anymore. I feel like you have good enough players to not look terrible. And we've seen us play good defense this year. I've been a defensive apologist. I don't think our defense is nearly as bad as everybody says. I think we got blown out by some really good quarterbacks and some really hot offenses this year. Like you even look at Derek Carr. I know that things have kind of fallen off, the wheels lately, but he was like a top 3 quarterback when we played him. Like he was going crazy. He was putting up like 300 a game. So, I mean, we played some really good quarterbacks and got beat up by some really good quarterbacks, but we've also beat up quarterbacks that shouldn't do anything against us. So I don't know. I think that our defense is better than a lot of people think, especially player wise. I think Jonathan Gannon is a big, big problem though.
Yeah. Too easy on Fletcher Cox. I mean, Fletcher Cox this year, he hasn't been doing like his normal stuff, but am I okay with it? I guess I had to say yes. I mean, he's getting up there in age, right?
Fletcher Cox? I mean, Fletcher Cox, we've always said, like, we got to find somebody that could play next to Fletcher Cox that can play against those one-on-ones. And for most of this year, Javon Hargrave was showing that he was that guy. And now recently, like the last couple games, I'll say maybe 5 games, Javon Hargrave has been starting to see double coverage. Javon Hargrave is starting to be the target now. They're starting to look at him a little bit. These defensive coordinators get paid too. So these offensive coordinators get paid too. So they're going to see, that Javon Hargrave's out there going crazy. And I think we've seen Fletcher Cox be more of a disruption in these last part of the games. And who knows how healthy he is. Like this whole defense realistically is just weird. It's not what we're used to across the board, this whole defense. So I really don't know about Fletcher Cox. You look at the money, and obviously it's like whoa, he's getting paid a lot of money. And then you look at the production, and you're like, it doesn't necessarily match up. But I think Fletcher Cox is still a top 10 defensive lineman, maybe even higher. So I'm not too worried about Fletcher Cox. I think he's fine. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah. If anything, the next thing I want to see if the Eagles lock down Slay for another 3 years. Do you agree? Yes, we need Slay. Yeah. Like that's the obvious. Yeah,
I mean,
thing.
I wouldn't even say years. I want that cap space. If we extend them, I think we save like 15 mil or something like that. So let's do it.
I didn't even know that. God dang. If the Eagles cannot beat Mike Lennon in Giants on a short week, then they could not beat them on a regular week. Short weeks will help the Eagles players less reading the headlines. I mean, I guess so. We should have played Washington's practice squad. Then that's just there to replace their starters if needed. I mean, what else do you want? Yeah,
it is what it is. That's why you got all them damn players.
The past 3 seasons have been such for Fletcher, and it will only get worse. I mean, is there a way that you think that Fletcher Cox may not be on the team next year?
Nah, I mean, somebody would have to really, really offer us something crazy. There's no way you cut him. Look, Fletcher Cox, has he regressed? Yeah, he's getting older. I mean, it is what it is. He's been that guy on our defensive line for over a decade now. I don't know actually how long he's been on the team actually. But either way, it's been a long ass time. Like at some point, you're gonna slow down. But do I still think that he's a better defensive lineman than a lot of guys out there? Definitely. I still think I would take him over. Like I said, I think he's still a top 10 D lineman. So I don't think he's regressed to the point that he's unplayable or he's just getting worse and worse and it's just going to be terrible. At some point, he's not going to be able to play football anymore. But he's not 25. Like it's one thing if he was young, but I mean, yeah, by the time he's 35, 36, I'm sure he's not going to be able to play football anymore or won't want to play football anymore. So. I hope Fletcher's gone this offseason.
All right.
That's an unrealistic expectation or hope.
Joe, would you be good with Jordan Davis to replace Cox?
I haven't looked into that guy, but I mean, you're talking about this is where the poison comes from the fan base. This is where a lot of people look at us and say that we're greedy or we're unappreciative because we're really sitting here talking about a rookie that we don't have no idea who he is. Realistically, rookies are a crapshoot. He might look great in college, but and replacing him, replacing Fletcher Cox, who's a stalwart of our defense. Let's take Fletcher Cox out of the equation and see how that defense plays. We can look at some of the games this year that when Fletcher Cox is out of the game, we see a totally like. Are you cool with Milton Williams? Is that where the future lies right now? No. Like, let's be real. Fletcher Cox is still a very, very good player. Next year will he drop off a little bit? Yeah, he might, but I think he'll still be a very good player. You know what I'm saying? There was two varies I just said in the first one. So maybe he'll drop a vary, but he's still going to be a very good player, man. I would be very hard pressed, like I said, unless somebody offers us something crazy. I'll be very hard pressed to see Howie and this organization just move on from him. I doubt it.
How many years does he have left on his contract? I really thought this was his last year. He's got 3?
Nah, I think he's got 3 more, or 2 or 3, something like that. Because I know he's getting bread next year. He's getting a lot of money next year.
Wait, was it what? Wait, what? It's a question. It's not poison.
No. He's saying no. I'm not saying that your question is poison. I'm saying that's where everybody says that we're like unappreciative and because you can't do nobody in 5 years if Aaron Darnold starts like falling off and is playing at the level that Cox is, or 2 years or 3 years, whatever it may be. Nobody's gonna say let's get rid of Aaron Darnold. He's trapped. It's just we have to get something back. And that would be very, very worth it. And I'm talking like a first, maybe second round pick. They're not giving him up for just like a random 3rd round or 4th round pick. You're not eating that money. And honestly, that's going to be very hard to replace. I know a lot of people think that he's falling off, but I don't know. Especially in that run support, our run defense looks totally different when he's not on the field. So
Cox hasn't been a very good player in some time. I don't know why people keep putting him on a pedestal. I mean, he's an all-time Eagles legend right now. You can call him.
I don't think it's even on a pedestal. I mean, what did he have last year? Like 6.5 sacks last year, something like that. Like he's a defensive tackle. Defensive tackles aren't asked to do that. Like we just have a unrealistic expectation of who he's supposed to be. 5 or 6 years ago, he was 1A, 1B with Aaron Donald. It's not, he's not there anymore. It's not 5 or 6 years ago. So I don't know. I don't think it's a pedestal. I think it's just being realistic about how a player's progression is going to go. At some point, they're going to start losing, something. So I don't think he's that bad. I don't know.
Yeah. My question was basing off the future, not to get rid of him.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, look, if you can find I think that's got to be the main goal this offseason is try to get that defense younger. And I think defensive line is one of the most important spots on that defensive line. I mean, on that defense, excuse me. So I think you need pass rushers. I think you need a lot of pass rushers, if I'm being honest, because I don't really trust anybody on this squad as like a future piece. But yeah, defensive tackles is definitely going to be on our shopping list as well this offseason.
Who are your top 3 draft prospects for this year's first round coming up?
I don't know. I would have to really like put a list together. I'm slowly like starting to go through all this college stuff. So in a couple weeks, I'll probably like actually start having some opinions on the draft. But right now, I'm just
I would like Hutchinson.
Focus on Eagles. I mean, there's a lot of like names out there that show, and like I see games here and there that I'm like, oh damn, this guy's popping off. And obviously, I'm a Penn State fan, so there's a couple guys on Penn State that I like, but to really sit here and like, say I want this guy, I want that guy. I don't know. It's tough because I really got to watch everybody and see, the headlines are headlines, it is what it is.
Yeah. There's still players that are playing on the field at the end of the day. I'm like, yep, there's still players on the field. They still have emotions and they're regular people. But when the league really screws you over like they did with the Eagles here, I mean, it's not just us. They screwed over some other teams as well, but it's mostly us. I would rather see practice squad players on the field anyways getting some playing time than seeing football on a Tuesday at 7. Well, think about it. We got football on a Tuesday. Never thought you would hear that.
Might be cool. It better be on TV. That's the only thing I'm worried about because it's like I know that most of their TV network deals are like contractual. So like if this isn't televised, I'm gonna be more upset.
I think it is. I mean, I'm in Jersey, so it's like automatic right here. Yeah, Jordan Davis is 6'6", 350 and fast. That's why I like him. I feel like getting bigger online man has been helping us lately, and I agree. Go, I want Smith from you.
Yeah, from PSU. Yeah, Smith is a beast.
Yeah, I mean,
We got some good players, but that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of good defensive players in this draft. From like I will say that much from the little bit of scouting that I have done, there's a lot of players that fit what we need, especially in the first couple rounds. So, I mean, this has to be. I hate to say this, we have to do what the Dallas Cowboys did, and we have to just go all defense this year. Like I don't care if you miss on a couple guys, you just keep on hitting that nail.
Yep. On Tuesday, Washington football team outbreak might be even worse, and yes, they will have to forfeit the game. Yep. I mean, it's common sense here. Against them. I'm getting tired of the practice squad. I'm like, I had to read that like 10,000 times. I'm getting tired of that. I mean, it's a tough thing. I guarantee you there's gonna be more games like this. I guarantee you there's gonna be more games being rescheduled.
Yeah, I mean, it should just be a clear cut. You're injured, you're too injured to play, then you can't play. It is what it is. Like especially this late in the year. Like I could get if this was week 2, week 3, and you're like, all right, well, this is gonna be a little weird. But this is the second time the Eagles have to play 3 games in I think 13, 14 days. Like that's unfair. That's not fair.
Yep. Yes, sir. I've been saying it. Address your offensive free agency and draft D. I mean, do you guys really trust Howie Roseman drafting?
I ain't got no other choice. I mean,
I know.
This last draft wasn't terrible. This last draft, like so far, hasn't been terrible. Like I do take shots at Milton Williams, but he's not horrible. He's been okay. Like he's getting better every week. Zach McPherson has not been great, but he's getting better. You look obviously at the first 2. Landon Dickerson is a man. You know what I'm saying? That's a full-grown man out there. And then you look at Devontae Smith, and I think he's everything you wanted him to be, and maybe a little bit even more, to be honest. Because I expected him to be very good, but I didn't expect him to be as dominant as he's been these first, this first go around. So, I mean, you look at this draft is not that bad. You look at the draft before. It's not terrible. Like maybe he's figuring something out. Maybe he just understands I got to give my, scouts the keys and let them make the right decisions. But we'll see. I guess maybe that's a big hope right there.
Now, this has been bothering me the whole time, and that's the QB controversy with Jalen Hurts. It's not a controversy in my opinion, but people are calling it between Hurts and Minshew. Your thoughts on that?
It's Minshew mania. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean realistically, I don't think either of them are the guy for the future, and I know that'll probably ruffle some feathers, and that's fine. I don't see anything that Jalen Hurts has really done on a game-to-game basis. I mean, he's had some good drives. He's had a game or two where I was like, if he keeps on doing that, he would be great. But I don't know. I think that Jalen Hurts, if you can't find a quarterback this offseason, for a reasonable price that you think is that guy, just keep Jalen Hurts for another year, build this team. I do trust him that much, at least. I think that we can win some games next year with him. I think even playoffs, but I just don't think he's a franchise, take your team to the playoffs, perennially every year type. I just don't think he's that guy. I think that he's lacks too much. And if he can develop, then, awesome. Then he develops and we have a great quarterback. Minshew's a good quarterback. I really do like Minshew, but I mean, he is what he is. I don't think that there's much more to go with him. I think he's got to where he's going to be, and this is who he's going to be. Maybe a good bridge quarterback for somebody, like kind of how, like a Tyrod Taylor's jumped from team to team. I could see maybe a Gardner Minshew do that, have a couple of opportunities to start, but I don't think either of them are the answer for us long term, if I'm being honest. Hater. Yeah, I already know. I'm a hater. It is what it is.
But it's just he's been. I really don't like his inaccuracy, Hurts, and not being able to read the field. I mean, look at Minshew, his first game. He found Goddard twice in the end zone. That was the most time Goddard scored. That's the most times he scored this year. 2 touchdowns with Minshew. And then he found Watkins a couple times. I mean, he was reading the field great, and that's what Hurts needs to work on.
Yeah, people are like, the one thing I hate, and I've said this to a couple people, is like, when you do talk about Minshew versus Jalen Hurts, tell me why Jalen Hurts should start, not why you don't want Minshew. Like that's what I hear a lot. Like, and I'm not trying to add, like I said, like I just said, I do think that Jalen Hurts deserves that starting job. I think that it makes more sense to see what you can get out of him. I think he has room to grow. But a lot of times the argument becomes like, well, Minshew can't do this, Minshew can't do that. Well, what can Jalen do? What has Jalen done on a consistent basis that makes you, want to see him as your quarterback? And it always goes back to either his running or his leadership. And you even go back to some of his good games. Like you look at the Kansas City game. I think passing wise, that was probably one of his better games. Obviously, the defense just didn't show up. But the Kansas City defense was absolute garbage. They were at their very lowest of low points as the season was progressing. Obviously, they've gotten a lot better, but they were absolute garbage then. And then you see, what Gardner Minshew does to the Jets, who are garbage as well. And it becomes, oh, well, Minshew should have done that. They were trash. You can say the same thing about Jalen Hurts prior week against the Giants. Like, he should have beat them. He should have whooped their butt. He didn't. You can go back to week 2 against the beat up San Francisco 49ers, and he couldn't put nothing up. So, I mean, I feel that Jalen Hurts has had just as many opportunities to beat up on bad teams, and he just hasn't taken advantage of it. So, until he does that, and I think that if he can play this game, I'm going to have my eye on him. I think that I should expect you to go out there and do what Gardner Minshew was able to do. If that's what we're saying, if we're saying that it's such a clear cut, he's better than Gardner Minshew, then when you go against the Washington team that's down 7 or 8 defensive linemen, you better go crazy. Like, you better go crazy. So that's where I'm at right now. Like, you got to show me something. Like, and I think every Eagles fan should be there. Like, you have to show me something at some point.
Mm-hmm. Washington just activated 4 players on COVID list: Jonathan Allen, James Smith, Montez Sweat, and Casey Toohill. I mean,
shout out to Casey Toohill. That's how he came from the Eagles.
Yeah, they're getting their players back. Yeah,
they had. Well, I know Jonathan Allen was vaccinated, so I figured he would be back pretty quick. But like most of that, I know Montez Sweat was out last week, so that makes sense that he's coming back. But they still got like 3 more out. So I mean, it's that's just the start for their defensive line.
Yeah, Blake Bortles played better than Minshew in Jacksonville.
That's how people just don't actually watch football sometimes. Like, to say something like that, they bring up their stats, brother. Bring up their stats in the first whatever games that they had. Because I think Gardner's at like 20 games, and I think that he had more touchdowns than Blake Bortles ever had. So I'm obviously joking about that. But, yeah, Blake Bortles was not even close to good.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think the Eagles are going to trade Gardner Minshew this offseason? Because I've been hearing rumors like nonstop. I would not do it.
They're gonna answer that phone call. They're definitely gonna answer that phone call, which they should. I mean, if they invested a 6th round pick in him, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
It was, yeah.
So if you get like a 4th, 5th, if somebody calls you and they're desperate for a quarterback like a Gardner Minshew, like I say, Gardner Minshew is not a bad quarterback. Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people just want to hate him because they don't want to see Jalen Hurts lose the job. But Gardner Minshew is a solid quarterback. So look, if somebody wants to give us a 4th, 5th round pick for him, we should be all ears. So I wouldn't say that it's definitely going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised, especially with this team. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised with Howie, right? He loves to pick up that phone. So
Bortles went to the AFC Championship game as Minshew. I mean,
that defense went to the AFC Championship.
It was game. That defense.
Let's be real. What did he do in the AFC Championship game? Come on now.
Like I said, Garner will be traded this offseason. You did tell me that, Vic. You did tell me that. But did you know that Carolina actually offered a trade for Minshew? We hung up before they even got Cam Newton back.
For real, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was like a while ago. The Panthers have been interested for what I just.
See, a fourth, if they gave us a fourth, and I mean, right now it wouldn't make sense because obviously you don't have Joe Flacco. Or you're really going to go into a game with Reed Senate? Is that really what you want to do? So, I mean, right now I get why it wouldn't make, obviously, and the trade deadline is passed. But, if you knew that you were going to get that return for Joe Flacco, I would say, all right, I'm going to hold on to Gardner. Gardner's, especially now after that game, if he doesn't play another game, it's tough to say that his value went down at all, right? I mean, he had a good game in the one appearance that he had. He's going to turn 26 next year. There's no value lost there. So if the Panthers want him that bad, I doubt that they would not try and offer another fourth, at the end of this year. So, hey, if they want to give us a fourth, bring it on, brother. Bring it on. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, they have Cam now, who's not exactly doing that well. He got benched. Cam got benched. He played this whole season. What did he do? He was not the mess up. Get to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, he also had Jalen Ramsey. He also had a young Miles Jack. He also had AJ Boye. He had one of the best defenses in the past 10 years, if we're being real. Probably a top 5 defense in the past 10 years. But hey, go off, brother.
Now the thing where Jacksonville's at now. Urban Meyer's now gone. Trevor Lawrence.
No Allen Robinson. No, who did they have? They had 15 different tight ends at one point. They lost a lot of good players. They went from decent to terrible very quick.
Mm-hmm. In my opinion, Trevor Lawrence is still overrated. I've been saying that for years.
It's tough to say that. It's tough to see. He has talent, and he's in one of the most upside down situations I've ever seen. Urban Meyer came in and was the GOAT to everybody out there and became the most hated man in the world in a couple months. It's crazy. I mean, he deserved to lose that job.
At the end of the day, Bulldogs has an appearance in the AFC Championship
That's the
game.
weirdest excuse I've ever heard in my life. That's the weirdest way of saying that. I get you don't like somebody, bro, but let's make some points that make sense. That. So let me put it this way. Let's put it this way. What's homeboy name? Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer is a better quarterback in your skewed mindset, because that's what you just said. Trent Dilfer is a better quarterback than, let's say, who's somebody that didn't win Dan Marino, right? Because Trent Dilfer has a Super Bowl. He was able to bring his team to a Super Bowl, so he's better than a Dan Marino. See how dumb that sounds? Exactly. Come on. Let's be real.
Playoff record 2-1.
That defense is play. Can we watch football, guys? We should really watch. It's a really fun sport, y'all. I would love to get into it.
I might go back and just look at that season.
Bro, y'all are crazy. Y'all are. I lived in Jacksonville when Blake Bortles was out there. Blake Bortles used to buy a bunch of people bottles on the beach and stuff. That man was not a good quarterback. Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be honest. I know you guys are trying to tell me that Gardner Minshew ain't that great because you love Jalen Hurts. I get it. But football has more than one player on a team. Gardner Minshew is a good player, y'all. Gardner Minshew is a good player, a 7th round pick at that, who has made 7th round picks don't find their way on different teams when they're a quarterback, especially when they're a quarterback. They don't find their way into starting positions, especially as a quarterback. What he did proves that he has enough talent to play in the NFL. And, all these weird comparisons really trying to tell me that Blake Bortles, come on, man. Look at the team that Blake Bortles had compared to what Gardner Minshew had. Come on, man.
You can't do that. This whole thing is hysterical. Oh, my God.
I just don't understand why people hate Gardner Minshew so much.
I love
what did Gardner Minshew do to y'all?
I love Uncle Rico.
Yeah, is it the mustache?
He can throw it over the mountains. He can throw it over the mountains. But Uncle Rico, man, it's the best feeling. But the running backs are back. Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders. That's a great thing. But who's gonna be the number one? Miles Sanders again?
Probably.
I'd rather have
should
Jordan
be.
Howard, in my opinion, but it is what
I mean,
it
I
is.
don't know. It comes down to the definition of what a number one is. Like, I think that both of them are situational guys. I think that, when you need those tough yards or when you want to kind of, start tiring out the defense, you throw in a Jordan Howard, you let him beat up, those players. And then you got a little bit of speed with Miles Sanders. So, I mean, who will take the first snap? Probably Miles Sanders, but I assume that they're going to get both around the same amount of carries like they did when they were both healthy. So I'm expecting to still see some good play from him. Gardner Minshew NFL compares. Gardner Minshew, that's his NFL
It's
QB
like
comparison because he's an NFL
himself.
quarterback. Like what is Jalen Hurts' NFL quarterback compare?
People are comparing him to like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Y'all was comparing Lamar Jackson to Josh Allen and all these players that actually proved themselves. Like,
and
God,
I'm keep on getting tired of the Jalen Hurts excuses. You remember how Jalen Rager dropped those 2 passes? People are blaming the loss on Rager more than Hurts. I'm like, Hurts look,
you lose. You don't lose a game in 20 seconds. You don't lose a game in 3 plays. You lose the game over the entirety of 4 quarters, right? So I'm with you right there. That is like the most and it's not about blame at this point. Like it really isn't. I understand we all say that and like, oh, it's this person's fault, is that? But it's not even about that. It's just holding people accountable. Like Jalen Hurts held himself accountable. Like the whole team held themselves accountable. Why, as fans, can't we say our quarterback needs to be better? Like he's 17 games in. Like this man is going to be a rookie for the next 10 years if you guys let him. Like it makes no sense. Like just hold him accountable. It makes 0 sense to keep on saying, oh, well, he's still young. Oh, well, this person, if Jalen Wright, he didn't put us in a position to win. That was another one that kept getting me. Like he put us in a position to win at the end. No, our defense kept us in that game. If our defense would have gave up 20 points, we wouldn't have been in a position to win that game. And then y'all would have been blaming the defense. Like it makes no sense. Hold the players accountable when they do something wrong. It just doesn't make sense.
So you're blaming it on Hurts, Rager, Scott, Goddard, Stahl, and Ward? Okay.
Stahl ain't do nothing.
What did Stahl do?
Stahl.
What did he do? Can someone please tell me? Am I missing something?
Shout out to my guy Jack Stahl, man.
Like I'm getting tired of all the excuses. Like I've been hearing this for most of the time this season. This season has been like so many excuses, and it's coming from like some content creators, some like fan base on Twitter. It's just like it's getting annoying. It really is.
Accept what this team is. I mean, we all knew this wasn't going to be the greatest of seasons. Like, I don't think it's been a bad season. I did a video not too long ago where I felt like we kind of exceeded expectations already. Like, we're already better than I thought we could have been. Like, and we're a lot better than a lot of experts said that we were going to be. Some people were saying we're going to win 3 games. Some people were saying we're going to win 2, 4 games. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're better than that. Like, let's just ride it out, see what happens. Like,
yeah,
Jalen is a cool dude, man. I do say, and I will say this a million times, man. If Jalen Hurts can become even a good, I'm not saying he's terrible, but if he can become consistently good in the pocket at reading, and he doesn't have to be amazing. I'm not saying go out there and throw it 40 times, but if he can put up 30 passes and be consistent in what he does in those 30 passes, he can be near elite, if not elite. I mean, that running ability is ridiculous. So if you can, package that with a consistent arm, okay, because he doesn't have a bad arm. He's not a noodle arm like a lot of people, but if you can be consistent, get the timing down, get the reading, get your reads down, man, sky's the limit for him. And I even said that in comparison to Gardner Minshew. Where Gardner Minshew is, I think that's kind of where he's going to be. Maybe there's a couple steps up for him, but, I think he's a good player, and I think that's where he's going to be. But when you have an ability like Jalen Hurts has, I feel like you can become who knows, right? And especially at 23. So we'll see. I mean, it's all about him developing and all about him getting better at what he needs to get better at. And that's just all we have to accept.
Yeah. After the Ward incompletion, Hurts QB draw, Jack Stahl completely missed the block, allowing the defender to stop Hurts' next play was the interception. Okay. That was only 1 block.
Everybody misses blocks. Jack Stahl's my guy. That's all I'm saying.
I like Jack Stahl. Like, you got it. Like, for me, he does everything that you ask of him. Like he plays his heart out and he makes the right moves.
And unlike Hurts, he's an actual rookie. He's actually on his first year.
You know what? This people are still calling Ben Simmons a rookie.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I've never seen somebody get called a rookie so much. It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense.
The Giants will take Jalen Hurts off your hands.
See, that's proof right there that he's not a great quarterback because the Giants want him. So I mean, that's proof right there. That gets me nervous. If the Giants want him, I don't know if I do. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like I said, I think Jalen Hurts has a very high ceiling. It's just about if he's going to reach it, and I mean that's just as much on our coaching staff as it is on him, right? So we'll see what happens. These next 4 games are huge for him. Huge.
Oh my God, yeah. If we lose one game, we're done. And people are saying we're gonna go win the next 4 straight, go in the playoffs, win the first round. That's what I've been hearing. I'm like, bro, what?
Hey, you gotta dream big. I wouldn't look. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow we just this is who the Eagles are. Like I wouldn't be surprised if somehow we just go on some weird late season run, playoffs. Maybe not a crazy run or anything. But I wouldn't be surprised if we snuck in and maybe surprised the team. I really wouldn't. I think that we are a very well built team. It's like I said. I just think it's about figuring out who we want to be from week to week and getting some consistency in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd rather use a handkerchief than Daniel Jones at QB. I mean, my friend who's a Giants fan, he lives in Florida, in Boca. He's like, Mitch, we're going to lose on Sunday to you guys. We're a high school team. I want Daniel Jones to go. I want all these people to go. And then he texted me the next day. He was like, hi, you lost to a high school team. I'm like, bruh. This guy was an Eagles fan before he moved to Florida. Once he moved to Florida, became a Giants fan.
That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, I still text him about that every day. And his dad, I'm so close with his dad. He's a diehard Eagles fan. I'm like, bro, what?
That's crazy.
Yeah, you're telling me. So, what are the keys to win on Tuesday? I was going to say Sunday.
That's a weird thing to say.
I know.
We got, I mean, look, it's pretty odd. We have to run the ball, right? I mean, everybody's going to say we have to get that run game going. We have to be dominant on the ground, get that offensive line going. Defensively, we have to just do what we're supposed to do. Just very much like the Giants game, very much like the Jets game. Do what you're supposed to do. Don't let them go out there and drive the field consistently on you. Make stops. Make some turnovers, get off the field. That's what your job is. The defense has to continue to do their job. And Jalen is a huge key to this game. If he's got to prove that he can play some football, man. And I hate to say it that cut and dry, but it's true. His divisional games have been terrible. That last game against the Giants still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So I want to see him play some football, man. I need to see him go out there and do what the heck he's supposed to do and play a bad defense and he's played bad defenses before. Just take advantage of these guys. So I would really have to say those are my 3 keys this game.
Yeah. So get the ball to Devontae. I mean, yeah, that would be nice. Watkins out. So think about who's going to be your second wide receiver? Ward?
Probably either Rager or J-Jaw.
Oh, right. I forgot about Rager. Oh, my God.
I think Rager forgot about Rager.
When did that start? Did that start when, that whole thing with the fan and everything? Is that when it started? Or did it start like...
When what?
Remember when Rager and the fan got at it on like social media with like fighting words and stuff? Mm-hmm. And then after that, it was like going downhill. Did it start before that?
I think he's always been like this dude. I don't know. Last year, he wasn't that great, but it was like his rookie year. So I was kind of like just trying to get him implemented in the offense. I don't know. I really don't know. I think there's so much going on with him. So I will see what happens. Hopefully he can get it together. I think if he's going to be our number 3, I'm not the most upset at that. Like, he's a fast guy, quick twitch. But he's got to get over his own little mental block or whatever it is right now because, it's frustrating.
Yeah. Would you want to trade him? Like this offseason, do you want him gone?
If people would give me something good enough for him, I mean, sure. I'm not going to just cut him, but if you want to give us like a second or a third, I doubt anybody would ever want to do that. So I don't think that there's any I don't think there's any like value in him in the trade market right now. So I don't know.
Yeah. Great show, guys. And Joe, congrats on all of your success. Loved you, watching you grow man, and bless. Yeah. Uncensored.
Appreciate that.
I got to text you something. But, yeah, I mean, Travis Fulgham got cut from the Dolphins. I would love to have him back.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, I mean, but there's, where there's smoke, there's fire. This man has been cut from like 15 different teams, bro. Like, I don't know what's going on with Travis Fulgham. Maybe Travis Fulgham's just really because we were getting, I think it was Brandon Lee Godwin that came on the show and was just kind of saying that there were reports that he was just, for lack of better terms, lazy. He didn't put in the work and practice and stuff. So maybe that's the truth. Maybe that's really where he is right now. He's just not a team guy. Because, I mean, he's been cut so many times, it just doesn't make sense at this point because we've seen that he has talent.
Bring back Jason Avant. He's making a comeback. Oh my God.
That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. I loved Avant. I loved him. How can you not? Yeah, how can you not love Avant? Like, that guy, man. It's just like, now, what does Nick Sirianni have to do for Tuesday? It still sounds weird. Oh my God.
I mean, honestly, I think Nick Sirianni's done well as of late. I think he's called some good football games. So just keep doing that. Keep your commitment to the run. Yeah, I mean, just keep doing what you've been doing. I don't think he's called bad games. I really don't. I think that even when Jalen had his poor game against the Giants, I don't think it was on the play calling. I think it was just poor playing. Like, poor execution, So I think with Nick Sirianni, just more of the same, to be honest. Keep on changing it up. Keep on trying to implement new things, but make sure everything stems from the run game. You know what I'm saying?
Travis Fulgham is Dorial Green Beckham 2.0. Bruh, I'm weak. Have the talent, but not the will. I mean, you could say the same thing about Avant. I mean, not Avant. Oh my God, Hightower. No, Hightower, because he does his hard side in the game.
No, facts. We keep people. I don't know why we keep these people. That's the golden question. Is like, how do you guys stay on the team if you guys because didn't Hightower come out and say like he's not all the way in it all the time? Like, how are you still on my team? Like, I don't get that.
Fulgham signed with the Broncos.
That'll be interesting.
Wait, did he or not? Because I did not hear anything.
I didn't follow him, so I don't know. But I mean, hey, he's a decent. He's got talent. He'll hopefully lock on somewhere, I guess.
He was a diamond in the rough last year. Like,
he was. Yeah.
Now, I made a video about this. I think it was like, I forget what day. But Goddard, he needs to get the ball more. You agree?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think everybody needs to. I mean, everybody needs to. We need to spread that ball out as much as we can. But we're a run team now, right? Our whole offense is going to be predicated on the run, and that's going to take touches away from the wide receivers, the tight ends. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm a results person. As long as we win in games, I don't really care who gets 100 yards each game. I just want to see us winning games. So whatever works and whatever keeps the defense off balance, that's what we need to do.
Broncos signed Clinton Dix and Travis Fulgham to the practice squad. Another practice squad. Oh my God. I feel so bad for Fulgham.
Hey, he's making money. I don't feel that bad.
He's making money, yes, but it's just like practice squad.
He's traveling too. That means traveling.
Can you imagine if he just got an apartment and be like, oh, you're being let go now? It's like,
yeah, moving all the time. Just keep your bags packed, man. That's what I would say. Just keep your bags packed.
Yeah. So the Eagles miss Zach Ertz. I mean, Zach Ertz is going off right now.
Yeah. I mean, it was a tough. It was. I don't want to say we miss him. I think that he was just in a situation that he didn't want to be in anymore. We didn't really have the need for him, like especially now. Like, where would his targets be coming in? Like, we really don't have that. The ball. We only have one ball, and like I said, with the predication on the run now, it would be hard to even get him going in this offense. So I'm happy for him, honestly. I hope that if we don't do anything in the playoffs, which we probably won't, I hope the Cardinals do well. I hope he goes out with a ring, man. Like, screw it. It ain't no sweat off my back. If we're not gonna be good, let them go grab it. I ain't mad at them.
Yeah, it just I'm not mad at him either. I mean, I wanted the best for Zach Ertz, and look what happened. He's going off. To me, he's the number one receiver there or tight end now. He's the number one guy because Hopkins is out.
Yeah, it's facts.
That was
Facts.
a big
Yeah,
blow.
he's been able to take advantage of it too. And he's
was a
breaking
big-
tackles and stuff. That it hurts my heart.
Yeah. So we're coming in on the close. I know you got to leave. You got something to do. So, who's your favorite Eagle of all time?
It's probably between like a Dawkins, maybe Sheldon Brown.
Sheldon Brown. That's different.
Sheldon Brown's my guy. I actually met Sheldon Brown. He was dope. He was a
Oh.
cool dude. I like Jeremiah Trotter a lot. I don't know why. Like, it's definitely gonna be a defensive player though. I mean, my easy, like, just a person that I know everybody would probably know is gonna probably be Brian Dawkins. But I have to say it's between either Sheldon Brown or Lito Shepherd. Those will actually be probably the top two guys. I love those. And we haven't had a cornerback or secondary in general in so long. So I hold on to the ones that we did have. So
I miss that best secondary in NFL. My God,
seriously, it was a beautiful time being an Eagles fan. A lot of big hits from that secondary. So it was a lot of fun to watch.
Quinn Michael, Brian Dawkins, you had Lito Shepherd, Sheldon Brown, Bobby Taylor, Troy Vincent. I mean, I miss those guys.
A whole squad. It was a scary team.
Everyone was scared to play us. Now it's like they roll over.
Now we're soft. Now we're like a finesse team. I don't really like it. That's why I like the run game. It feels like we're getting back to that like power football.
Yeah. But as soon as we actually ran the ball, how many weeks did that take?
Hopefully he just keeps on going. That's what I was saying. As long as he do more of the same, don't go back on your laurels. Keep running that ball.
Yeah. Instead of drafting Goddard in 2018, Eagles should have now had Ertz and Fred Warner with their Goddard pick. I mean, Goddard pick, the main reason I love it because we stole him from Dallas. That was the main thing I love it. So, just saying that, I'll keep Goddard.
Facts.
And here's the funniest thing. I saw this on Twitter when the trade deadline was approaching. And it's like this guy said the Eagles should trade Dallas Goddard for 2 first-round picks because the tight ends are replaceable. I'm like, what the hell?
I don't know who would give us 2 first-round picks, but if they would, I would have probably done that. I'm not going to lie. That's 2 first-round picks? Hey,
but again, with Howie Roseman, it's like...
I mean, yeah, we picked Dallas Goddard though. We picked Zach Ertz. So I mean, they can pick another tight end. I wouldn't be too. We got Tyree. We have a good little, stable of tight ends. So I'm not too worried. I mean, if you want to give us 2 first-round picks, come holler at me. Not now because we just paid them, but.
All right. So guys, we're closing in now. I'd like to say thank you for coming on. It was always a pleasure having you on, just talking birds and whatnot, and during this difficult situation. So, let everyone know where they can find you at.
Yeah, man, just Google or search Philly the podcast, and I'm sure my mug will come up. We're on Newsbreak app, obviously YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. Philly TP. But yeah, man, I appreciate you bringing me on, man. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad we were able to get this time in because after this, I have like literally like 1,000,001 things to do. But this is a nice way to start my morning is to talk some Philly. So I appreciate you having me on.
Yep, and congrats on having Kyrie back. I gotta say that.
Hey, part-time player.
Part-time player. It's like, what the hell? That's like the best part-time player you can be.
Yeah, no, we need bodies. So if one of those bodies could be Kyrie, I ain't mad at that.
All right, guys, just make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, Twitter, all that stuff is in the description. Subscribe to Spotlight Sports Network. That link is in the description as well. Great people over there. Just thank you all for coming and have a good day. Peace.